God of War Ragnarok is a big game with a ton of collectible artifacts. These artifacts add lore to the game, and one such set is Kvasir's poems. Kvasir is an actual figure in Norse mythology who was renowned for his poetry and wisdom. Maybe that's what made his work a perfect opportunity to throw in an Easter egg, or 14. There are no spoilers here for any Ragnarok plot points, but if you don't want to know any more about the details of these artifacts or the Easter eggs they contain, click out now. Still with us? Each of the 14 poems references a different first-party Sony title. So we're going to play a little game of Guess the Game. We'll read you the poem's title and its in-game description, and then give you a few seconds to, well, guess the game. Ready? Our first Kvasir poem is The Sunrise of Nothingness, a story of relentless genius from the mind of Kvasir. Imagine, dear reader, if you so dare, creatures of metal that screech through the air, that swim through the seas, that bound across the land, but are brought to their knees by a warrior's hand. Her origins hidden, her hair red as blood, finding places forbidden, buried under the mud. But who is this young girl, who is more than she seemeth, who will rescue her people and slay these behemoths? A clue there was her hair red as blood and slay these behemoths. Now, guess the game. If your answer was Horizon Zero Dawn, take a tall neck victory lap. Large Society Ground Orb, the performance. Being a fictional poem by Kvasir, master of all poets. The armies assembled, 9 warriors strong, well rested and fed, for the war would be long. The orb in the air, and branches in hand, a swing, a collision, the spectators stand. For 9 nights and 9 days, they fight without rest, running, then waiting, to prove themselves best, until finally, mercifully, the army does rout. One army triumphant, the other struck out. Some clues there were 9 nights and 9 days, maybe, running, then waiting, and the other struck out. And branches in hand, a swing, and a collision. And that poem was for MLB The Show. We Who Remain, Part the Second. A dramatic poem by Kvasir, he of undisputed brilliance. What is it to live? What is it to die? Is the only difference in the beholder's eye? When disease rots your body, when hate sours your brain, what separates the mad and the sane? For the bearded cruel father and his surrogate daughter shall never know respite from a life full of slaughter. The evil will die along with the good, and the difference between them grows less understood. Some clues there are in the title itself. We Who Remain, Part the Second. Disease that rots your body, and the difference between good and evil, maybe? The answer to that one, of course, was The Last of Us Part 2. Tool and Bang, a story of brotherhood by one Kvasir. Steel and fur, unlikely friends, united in purpose to heroic ends, thrown together by fate, ripped apart by disdain, old foes to aggravate, new allies to obtain, saving world after world, with friends at their backs, 2 clever automatons, and at least 2. The manuscript abruptly ends there. The bottom of the page is sinned beyond recognition. So some clues there are thinking about what kind of tool might be referenced, or a synonym for bang. Also, maybe the singeing is a good reference. Another clue is saving world after world, and maybe steel and fur. The poem, of course, references Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Afterlife Abandonment, a Kvasir work of brilliance that, if misunderstood, proves the ignorance of the reader. Stick, rope. Tar, black. Skin, handprint. Baby, crying. Shower, stink. Death, beach. Grubs, delicious. Bomb, piss. If you didn't get that poem, maybe think about a game where there's a baby crying and there are handprints, and where you might piss. The answer, of course, is Death Stranding. Visions After Rest, in which Kvasir provides readers with their own tools for crafting stories. Visions After Rest lay in wait for explorers, crafted by the imps, and filled with music, joy, or horror. Among these fanciful realms lie endless creation and possibilities where the limit is one's own imagination. If you need some clues, think about what a vision after rest might be, or a game where there are some helpful imps, or even the idea of Kvasir helping you craft your own stories. The poem is referencing dreams. Spirits Within Walls, a tale showcasing the power of visual art by Kvasir. A gentle boy and his brush found kinship along the walls. His creations, playful sprites, brought joy to one and all. The town, once empty, now flush with color and laughter. The boy hailed a hero, though merely a talented drafter. His mission, save his home, threatened by seas and disuse. His weapon, imagination, blues, reds, purple, and chartreuse. Here we have some clues about sprites and paintbrushes along the walls, maybe. This one might be tricky. It's certainly a less well-known game than some of the other ones, but the answer is Concrete Genie. Celestial Construct, a mind-expanding poetic experience constructed by who else but Kvasir. Look around you, O God, turn your head, guide your metal friend with care, or else it be dead. Rescue its friends, experience tension, immerse yourself in a new dimension. Maybe think about a game where you're guiding a metal friend while helping look for its friends. This one is definitely going to be easy for some big PSVR fans. The answer is Astro Bot Rescue Mission. Upon pursuing a place not marked on maps. A masterful sonnet by Kvasir, weaver of pulpy fictions. The lore of adventure is a powerful thing for this man from small beginnings. With his pluck, his wit, and his ancestors' ring, he aims to add to his winnings. To distant lands this man would travel, accompanied by partners and friends. And though their plans would often ravel, they'd all make it through in the end. In ancient sites of mystery and wonder, priceless treasures lay there for the taking. Into sticky situations he'd often blunder. Everything he touched would end up breaking. If for you the desire for thrills still lingers, be ready for anything and strengthen your fingers. If you want some clues, think about where strong fingers might come in handy for the character you're playing as. And what character from small beginnings in a Sony game has a notable ring? And maybe think of any games you've played where everything they seem to touch just ends up breaking. The answer, of course, is the Uncharted series. Trip, a poem of quiet melancholy by that poet Kvasir. Alone yet together, close yet apart, our long scarves, a tether, cooperation and art. Speak without word, quest through the land, glide like a bird, draw names in the sand. Some clues here are a game that has this quiet melancholy about it, and a place where there might be sand to draw names in, like maybe a desert. This is also another one where the title is a big giveaway. Think about a trip. The answer here is Journey. Eastern Spectre, a story from the East, relayed to and subsequently improved by the poet Kvasir. The proud maple cries, a standoff makes 3 men fall, and the wind moves on. One big hint is in the form of the poem itself, which, if you count the syllables, it is a haiku. It's also a game where the wind guides you and you have some standoffs. The answer, of course, is Ghost of Tsushima. An organization in the future. A story-driven experience by Kvasir. Sword from stone, fur from bone, stick spouting fire, and the blood wolf's ire. Armorless knights, supernatural fights, hope's nearly gone, be ready at dawn. Some clues are supernatural fights, maybe with the wolf mentioned, fur, and if sword from stone conjures up some images from King Arthur, well, that's also a clue. The answer is The Order 1886. Sanguinity, a deadly tale of bloodsick misery conjured into being by Kvasir. Kill and die, wound and sigh, bleed and perish, slash and cry, inject and deflect, think and reflect, fire, expire, murder, infect. The moon grows crimson, the mad townsfolk shout, this city a prison, carve your way out. Here you probably want to think sanguinity. Sanguine typically references blood in some way. And maybe think about a place where there are mad townsfolk and a prison where you have to carve your way out. The answer here is Bloodborne. The Dead Do Not Ride, in which Kvasir relays a poem of oil-slick, rotting flesh, horses of steel, and oil and leather. Think about what a horse of steel might be, and if yesterday's gone, what could that be a clue to? The answer is Days Gone, where you ride a motorcycle everywhere. Get it? Horses of steel. And the rotting flesh would probably be all the zombies in the game. Well, how many of Kvasir's poems were you able to guess before we revealed them? Let us know in the comments below.